Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to poke inevitability in the eye with the Captain America 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Avengers Endgame. Let's get started. All right, here's Captain America, still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you, and it's going to wind up being a pretty expressive posing session. We have not one, but two portraits of Cap, as well as two additional swap-out expressions. Additionally, we've got his compass with the portrait of Peggy in it, Mjolnir, and two versions of the shield, one whole, one shattered. Can't wait to see what I can do with all this sweet stuff, so let's get rolling. All right, here's Cap. Right out of the box, looking strong, looking proud, looking determined, everything that Captain America should be. Now, just a quick range of motion check on this. You can see that the suit restricts a fair amount of movement. That's a trade-off. When you want something to look this good and downscale this nicely, it will on occasion limit your ability to hit really dynamic poses. Fortunately, when you're dealing with a character like Captain America, you can rely on stoicism, you can rely on his presence, you can rely on projecting an attitude. And I think that's what we're gonna do here today. I'm sorry, my eyes are just catching in the monitor the way that the light glints off this awesome scale mail armor. It reads really, really nicely. And of course, the scale mail is a classic Captain America look, and we didn't really get to see it on him in the MCU until this figure, and it's just magnificent to finally see it in front of me. Nice weathering going on there. So there's a fair bit of accessories that we can fall back on as a means of creating a diversity of different poses that we can create with this figure. Now, one of the key moments, of course the big moment during the film, was when Cap catches Mjolnir and has him and just has that look like, okay, game on, Thanos. But for me, the one thing that captured Captain America more than anything else in the film was that bit when, after Thanos had effectively destroyed his shield and he knocked him 100 yards maybe, I don't know, he flew forever. But when he got back up and Thanos told him, you know, what I'm gonna do to this, to your pathetic planet, I'm really going to enjoy it, something like that. That moment where he stands up, the only one, the last one of the Marvel Trinity standing, legitimately stands up and then just yanks the strap on that shield, which is a move he's done more than once in the films. It's a very effective look, and it captures his attitude, who he is. The whole "I can do this all day" is expressed without even having to utter it. It's just right there in his face and in his posture. So we're gonna try to do that. So we're gonna need this shield, and this would be the hand that I'm going to need for holding the shield. Now, there's a very specific way to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my thumbnails to press on this clip and eject the clamp that holds the shield in place. In theory, I'm going to do this. Okay, so that's off. And rather than undo this clamp, which you can do, it's actually a very functioning clip, I'm gonna go ahead and shove his hand in there, wrap that hand around I'm gonna try to wrap that hand around the buckle. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna break it. I'm gonna bend that thumb out of the way just to give me more leeway. And yeah, it just slides right in there nicely. Good. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and pop this hand off. All right, I'm just gonna look at this peg, and its orientation right now is up and down, so it's like this. And I'm gonna try to figure out exactly where I need this to be, and if I need him to move it this way. No, I think that up and down is a fine orientation. In fact, I don't think it's going to matter. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this in there. Okay. It's kind of nice to have the strap off while you're doing this part. I'm gonna tug and make sure that's on there nice and secure. It's nice to have the strap undone when you're doing this part so that you're not putting any undue pressure on the buckle, on the strap itself, because you just really don't want to cause any damage to your figure. Wow, that went in there nice and easy, and it's nice and secure. I dig it. As this is the closest thing to the fist that I'm looking for, we're going to rely on a couple of things to affect this pose properly. One is we're going to rely on the shield to actually cover up the fact that his hand is not actually going to be holding the strap. You see what I'm saying? So in the movie, and I'm going to go ahead and put him up here so that he's standing by himself. But in the movie, he's holding the shield. This is the strap. There's a strap right down here, and he just yanks it. Okay, so we're going to be relying then on the shield to actually be hiding the fact that Cap isn't holding on to the strap. We're just going to have that flex going on with both arms. He's flexing this arm, holding the shield up. He's got this arm under here, and we're just going to be faking the look. Because when you look at this figure, it's going to be basically like this. And he's going to be, I'll just go ahead and do the head turn right there. He's going to be looking over the top of the shield. Now, the way I have it here, the shield's just a little bit too flat to the viewer, so I'm actually going to turn that head a little bit right now. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but at the same time, I want anybody just watching this to understand that we don't actually want him to be looking straight across here, because the shield is straight up to the camera. It just kind of creates a barrier between the viewer and Captain America's gaze. Now, I'm looking at this from the perspective of a photographer, naturally enough. It might be something that you might want something different for your display, and that's fine. But I really think that it's much more effective when he's looking out over the top of this part of the shield, and this kind of doesn't create a barrier, kind of leads you more into the pose of the figure itself. Now, looking again, you can kind of see that he's not quite making contact. So I'm going to actually bring this arm up and extend that arm out a little bit more. The armor here is creating another barrier that's making that difficult. So I'm just going to futz with this until I get enough clearance that it looks like when you're looking just past, all you see is this part of his hand. And this is even to the left, or his right, my left, of his face. So when you're looking at it, it's going to be like this, and you get the idea just looking at this figure of what he's doing, of what this pose is all about. Now, do I want him standing straight up and down like that? No, I don't think so. Let's go ahead and spread those feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. That might have been the wrong word choice right there, because Cap's shoulders, as you can see, are pretty broad. So for Cap, it's going to be kind of shoulder width apart. Now, this looks like we're done, but we're not. Again, one of the things I don't like is straight lines, and I don't like things to be parallel. So we're going to go ahead and move that boot out a little bit. Just kind of rotate it out. Not much. We don't want to give him like duck feet. And then we're going to do a torso twist, starting down here at the bottom, and then a little bit more. All right? So that's getting somewhere. Finally, what I'd really like to do is I do want him kind of leaning into it just a little bit. So let's go ahead and shift his hips. And you can see how I do this. There's a little bit of a shift of the hips. You hold the feet right here and then just shift his hips. And that kind of creates a lean for him, where he's kind of leaning in. Because this hip is now higher, you can have this leg straight and have this leg bent ever so slightly. And then you just experiment with how you want that lean to go. Just looking at this, I kind of want him standing proud, arch that back just a little bit, and then compensate by dropping that head. Now again, I'm going to undo that hip shift a little bit because I think it was just a little bit too much. Work with leg positioning, just straightening the legs. Again, normally I have at least a little bit of a bend in the legs, but I'm not going to do that for this pose. And just kind of hold him up here so that I can get a look at where his gaze is going. He's looking a little bit down, too much for my taste. I'm going to raise that head up just a little bit. Love that there's a double neck joint so that you can work with that just a little bit more. And let's go ahead and put that forward, get that neck up. And let me just go ahead and have him standing tall. And I think that he had it down a little bit lower than this, but I think it looks better from the figure's perspective if you get that shield up. He's like, game on, man. And am I gonna do a little bit of a head tilt? Yeah. Just a little bit of a head tilt, which I typically wouldn't do because it frequently gives us the illusion of confusion when somebody's doing a head tilt. But I think for this, yeah, just looking at that. And you may even want to have him looking a little bit more up because he is looking at Thanos. Yeah, that works. It's getting better all the time. And that frequently happens when you're posing. The more you futz with it, and the more critical of an eye you cast on your pose, the more likely you are to finally achieve something really special. And again, I like those feet, nice and yeah. Look at how far apart I got those feet there. That's really providing a really solid stance which is again what you want. Now again, this looking straight at the camera is not what I'm after here. I want his face to be a little bit off center, and there it is. There it is. That's it. Captain America, standing tall, standing proud, staring straight into the face of Thanos. Avatar of death. Beautiful. Captain America is most definitely a man of action for sure. But actions are fleeting. They last a moment and then snap, they're gone. And while these figures allow collectors to freeze moments of action in time, I find that a more stoic pose will often better encapsulate a character. Think of statues of Greek gods or paintings of historical figures. Like them, Cap is a hero out of legend, and also like them, he personifies far more than an individual action. He's a symbol of an idea, and I think that this figure displays best when it expresses that.
Did you enjoy that video? Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.